Well, hello, how are you doing? Hope you are well. Yes, it's the old git here again. Another rant about politics, and this time I've got a good rant because it's the election year, and the first head to head debate was carried out last night, so I'm sort of getting over it now and thought I'd make a little video about it and a few other things. Um, it was the first head to head debate between Sunak and Starmer and well, we'll go into that in a minute. But just one thing before we do start, don't forget all the things all the ways you need to get in touch with me are there in front of you on the screen. You can see them. Where are they? Down there somewhere. Yeah, down there. Best Before TV. Best Before TV at. Is that I'm pointing the right way? Yeah, Best Before TV. Uh, .com. That's the website where you can go watch all the television programs totally free of charge. And then after that, if you want to get in touch with me direct and give me your response to what I'm talking about, it's bestbeforetv@gmail.com, or on X or Twitter as it's formerly known. It's best before T. Okay, so that's how you get in touch with me. Please give me some feedback. And also you go to Rumble and watch the video, or even to YouTube and watch the video, because they've been very good and they've let me go back again on YouTube. So, but it's up to you. Either or goes to my website, go to the Old Git page, and you can watch these videos on the Old Git page. So there you go, plenty of places to go and see the Old Git in action, if you call me in action. Right, so head to head debate. And now I watched the debate between Sunak and Starmer, and I just about kept the matchsticks, keeping my eyelids open in place. I've seen better debates in schoolyards by 10-year-olds. My dad's worked in a factory. He was a tool maker. He forgot to mention that his father owned the factory, but never mind, we'll skip that. Said Mr. Keir Starmer. And my mum and dad worked in a pharmacy, said Mr. Sunak, Prime Minister Sunak. And then, of course, he had to counter that, Mr. Starmer. My mum was a nurse and worked in the NHS. And of course, Sunak said, well, we worked with the NHS, my mum and dad did, because we were pharmacists. Now, if I keep looking down, it's because I have to refer to my notes, because as you get to my age, you forget a lot of things. And also, here in Spain today, it's very, very hot. I've got the windows going right open, because if a car goes past, well, you'll hear it. It's for real. Or a dog barks, well, you'll know why. But I'm not going to sit here and boil. So it's a real video. It's not done in a big, massive studio. Anyway, so there we go. So they were having a tit for tat on what their parents did. But who cares what their parents did? I mean, at the end of the day, it's what they do. And how many times did Keir Starmer tell us that he was the public head of public prosecutions in the UK? It made me teeth itch. So in other words, he thought he was a good lawyer. But lawyers don't debate. Lawyers make statements and question people in a horrible manner. So anyway, he got that point across. And so I waited with bated breath to hear some fantastic Labour's life and country-changing policies. Was there any life and changing country policies? Well, no. I heard nothing from Starmer about what his plans are, what he's going to do. He was just waffling on like the Lego man that he is. But never mind, we'll carry on. Anyway, when asked, would you leave the ECHR, his answer was no. And what shocked me even more, I nearly fell off my seat, was he made it clear that he was a globalist. Oh dear. Now, so that means he would get closer. I think he would try and take us back into the EU. He wants close ties with them. He doesn't want to leave the ECHR. So that means he's never going to get rid of any, well, I was going to say terrorists, but I mean immigrants. But there is terrorists amongst them, as we now know. Anyway, so again, what's more, I can't believe that he said immigrants can not be returned. Well, we just, I'll just bang a bit of something on the other screen just to keep you amused. This is just, I'm not going to put any sound on these videos because it's not about that. I just want to sort of show you how they look, the pair of, look at them there, and the audience. And I'm sure the ITV, BBC and whoever else is sort of getting involved in all this, I'm sure they handpicked the audiences and they handpicked the questions, because I do believe that most of the mainstream media is leaning towards the left, and they have no interest in the centre right or right wing parties. So we've done that before, so I'm not going to go into that quite a lot, but we'll let them have a waffle on. You don't want to hear them, because otherwise you'll go to sleep before I finish talking to you. Now, as he said, he was asked, what more can, well, I've got to say this. Sorry, I just want to refer to my notes again, because what more I can't believe is that he said, and I make a point of this, that the immigrants cannot be returned. And when he said we have to find a way to solve the problem in Gaza, I nearly choked on my strong coffee, which was keeping me awake. Mr. Starmer, if you're voted in as Prime Minister, it's your job to solve the problems of the UK, not some problem war in a far off country. I think Israel is doing quite well at the moment, and you must consider the pending threat of war which could come to the shores of the UK. Okay, so that's what I thought of Mr. Starmer. We'll change. I'm fed up of looking at him now. We'll just have a quick look at Mr. Sunak campaign. Again, I'm not going to put the sound on because I think he would put you to sleep as well. So here he is. He's off in somewhere, some big factory, telling everybody how good they are or what he's done. So, just before we leave that little bit as well, Mr. Sunak, you can only be judged on the last 18 months, to be fair, that you've been in office. And yes, you did make sure that people had money with the furlough scheme during the pandemic, and yes, you answered the call for help from Ukraine, which incidentally, the brave people of Ukraine are pushing back the wolf at the door of Europe, i.e. Mr. Putin and his army and his cohorts. And if Russia and the trilateral axis succeed in Ukraine, in the Ukraine war, next stop could be the shores of the UK. So in the case of Mr. Sunak or Britain helping Ukraine, they are helping to prevent, hopefully, a war reaching us. But I think war is coming. It's inevitable. The way things are going with the trilateral axis. And if you don't know what that is, I've tried to explain it in my last video, but I think I made a bit of a cock up of it. Well, basically, it's Russia, China, Iran, and they are embracing other countries. China's giving loans out to lots of poor countries in Africa, then embracing them and bringing them into the way of things. The loans that they're giving to these people could never be paid back, so they sort of have power over them. Russia is doing all the espionage and, like the cyber attacks and things like that, and also the war in Ukraine, pushing and poking Europe. And of course, Iran is in the middle of it all, funding all these terrorist groups like Hamas and the Houthis and whoever, and directing them to destabilize that region and also further afield. And there's a few more involved as well. But I mean, you've got to look into it. We call it, or it's called the trilateral axis, and it's basically to put America on the back foot, which I don't think is going to happen, but that's what they think. So this is, again, just going off topic for a little bit because the actual debate was very boring. We could be looking at a war in Europe or in Western Europe and even on our shores in the UK. So think on, people. Right, but unfortunately, Mr. Sunak, your performance to stop the boats, build new houses, law and order, and to sort out the NHS has fallen short of your promises. Yes. So, neither of you really have inspired me a lot, and I don't think I would vote for either of you. As far as the debate is concerned, well, I just thought to myself, well, nothing to see here. Anyway, we're going to move on, and we're going to stay with Keir Starmer. Stay with the Labour Party, Keir Starmer's party, and I want you to watch this video now. Again, I could put sound, but I'm not going to. Keir Starmer's party, yes, and I think he's been set up to fail as party leader because the far left and the Corbynites are lurking in the background, waiting to give in their letters and votes of no confidence in Keir Starmer. They're using him as a front right now because they all, a lot of people think, oh, he's not one of those Corbynites. He's not total left. He's more more a little bit right wing. We'll get him. Oh yeah, the party's doing well now. But in the background, all those anti-Semitics and pro other countries Corbynites are still in the party and waiting to come out of the woodwork. Anyway, you've got Angela Rayner, who I think, if you look at the video now, you can see that they were voted into the council office. All of a sudden they're shouting Allah Akbar and Gaza. We done it for Gaza. The council officers supposed to be looking after the people of their constituency, not Gaza. But never mind. I don't want to go too far off topic, as I said. So, Angela Rayner, I think, is waiting to pounce. She's already promising groups like the Muslim men in the mosque, which you've just seen, and I think I'll loop it again. And if you notice, there was no women present there, none at all. And she was sort of making sure that, she says, I will make sure that Palestine will be rebuilt when the moment, at the moment, the opinion is not on the Labour agenda. She shouldn't have said it, but she does what she wants. Angela Rayner is possibly vying for the Prime Minister's job if he does get voted in, because again, she was very strong. She worked with Jeremy Corbyn, and I think she could end up being the Prime Minister, and I think Starmer will be kicked into the back benches very soon. Okay. Also, I will show you the video again where she's sitting in the mosque, but also Diane Abbott. Now, she was the first black lady to have a seat in Parliament. This is true. She's 70 years old now. She has trouble adding up, getting numbers right, and she does make some silly mistakes. Now, the whip was taken away from her because of the statements she made about white people and about Jewish people, and saying that there's no discrimination against them and only people like black people suffer discrimination. Very, it was not very nice. It was very offensive that she was speaking that way. They took the whip away from her. Well, lo and behold, under pressure of his other politicians, or other Labour politicians, the lefties. We'll just stick that on again because I think it's worth looking at yet again. You'll see that Angela Rayner is sitting there, and she promised that Labour would give power back to, and she was promising the world. And what I've also noticed as well, why is it now that lots of the votes depend on groups that shouldn't really be influencing the British government because they have other motives in mind? Anyway, she's sitting there and doing it and promising the world, and that goes against what Keir Starmer and the Labour Party are saying at the moment. But she doesn't care because she'll say what she wants. But again, Diane Abbott has been given back the whip and after being openly racist, and welcomed back to the fold with open arms to stand for election. Another Corbynista is back in the fold. Okay, so this is what you're all up against, and this is what England's up against. And if you vote for Labour, well, be it on your own heads. I'm so lucky that I live in Spain. I'll just give you a little thing about Spain. That's I wonder why Spain could do it, but if I was to say what I'm going to say now in England, or was to bring this point forward in England, I would be labelled of all kinds of different names. But here in Spain, if you're not Spanish, there's no way you could be in the government, and you don't vote in the general election. I've been here 23 years, and I can't vote in the regional elections, for the area that I live, but not in the general election. That's because you have to be Spanish. And if you have a gander one time, that's a good word, have a look one time, you will see, if you see the Spanish Parliament sitting, find me a foreign face. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but I don't understand why England gets lambasted for saying similar things. I'm saying that, don't call me a racist, because my very, very, very favourite politician is Ben Habib. Yeah, he's brilliant. He's more English than I am, and he stands for English values, and I think I'll mention him again in a little while, because at the end of all this, the debate and all the shenanigans that are going on with the Labour Party, and to think that they will basically make you poorer, make the country poorer, the only thing you can do is not vote for them. But you might not want to vote for Richie Sunak either, but there is a ray of hope. Yes, there is. And who can that be, you might say? Well, let's put another video on, shall we, and tell you who it could be. And again, I'm not going to put the sound down, because I'm not doing any party political stuff, letting them preach. I'm saying what I want to say. They all get as they say. All right. So here we've got who I think could actually save England. And of course, it's this fella. Yes. But there's hope in this ray of hope on the rise in the shape of Nigel Farage, who's finally thrown his hat in the ring. A true patriot whose love for his country has taken over, he's taken over the Reform Party from Richard Tice, who was the leader. And Richard Tice gave him it back willingly and became the chair, which was what Nigel Farage was before. You can see there that the girl, that stupid child, throwing a milkshake at him, she should be captured, put through the courts and jailed, because that could have easily been acid or something else. It's ridiculous and so infantile that these people do it. She's probably some kind of influencer who wants gets more likes on her social media page or something. But anyway, I hope she gets social media sent to prison, and she should. Anyway, I digress. So, as I said, Nigel Farage is true patriot. He loves his company. I always say company instead of country. And have taken over the Reform Party, and the Reform Party have some pretty spectacular people in their midst. And I've just mentioned Richard Tice. Richard Tice, as I said, was the leader before Mr. Farage took over. He's joking about the milkshake now. And Ben Habib, who I've mentioned. This man, he says, he's one of those politicians who says what he means. He says it out, and damn the consequences, he says it. And do you know, he holds the British values in the highest esteem, and he is very anti immigration, which is good. And his father was Pakistani, and I don't know whether he's Muslim or he's Christian. I don't know. It doesn't arise. He doesn't make a big thing of that. But he does make a big thing about British values. So there's another person who I would think would make a great politician and should be in the Parliament. And also Dr. David Bull. He's been around for quite a while. He would make a fantastic health minister because he knows the NHS and he's angry about how it's going. Let's put Mr. Farage back on again, because I like watching his videos. So, David Bull, and of course, a vintage lady who's also in Reform now, Anne Widdecombe, and you know she's very forthright and says what she means, and she means what she says. So, those are just a few of the people that are in the Reform Party. I think that anybody who's got any sense in the UK would vote for this party, because they would stop the boats immediately. That's their first task. They would come out of the ECHR straight away. They would take back their borders. They will make the Navy patrol. They would threaten probably France with losing their fishing rights if they don't stop things going on. They would control and give back the UK their sovereignty, is what you did the referendum for in the first place. They've got lots of good ideas on other things as well. So, that's how it is. That's what's going on in the world. That's after the debate. I find myself in such a state that there's nothing there that I could actually grab hold of and say, yes, let's vote for Richie Sunak, and definitely cannot vote for Keir Starmer. You have to make your own mind up. I can't influence you. No, I cannot. So, the old Git's had his rant. Don't worry, I've got a long way to go yet before the elections, and I'm sure I'll be ranting over somebody else. So everybody out there, stay safe, stay lucky, and vote the right way. And if I have an influence on you, you vote for that man with his McDonald's banana milkshake in his hand. Okay, good. Until the next time, it's the old Git saying, hopefully I'll see you soon. And right now, I'm out of here.